Hey everybody, and we're back to A Few Beers and a Shot. I'm Kyle, and Juan is behind the camera today, and we're doing our first episode of a brewery mini-series. We're here at Haymarket Brewery with Mike, and we're going to get to know a little bit more about one of our favorite beers that we did 2 episodes on. So, Mike, if you want to take it away and tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, Kyle. Juan, thank you guys very much for coming out and having me on your show. This is really exciting, especially since this is the first one that you're going to do at a brewery.
Yes, yeah, this was the first one that we both talked about when we're talking about, what breweries do we want to go to and who do we want to bring up. I think it was actually out of Juan's mouth. He's like, Haymarket. And I'm like, perfect. And I went on Instagram and I found you guys right away and I sent the message. And like I said, you were so quick to reach and respond that I didn't even really know what to do at first. And I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. So I wanted to we need to set this up as soon as possible. I don't care what's going on. We need to make sure this happens because this is awesome.
You guys reaching out to us means the world to us, really.
Yep, awesome.
Truthfully, it's awesome. When you think that there are about 10,000 breweries in this country right now, and one of the first ones you thought of in the podcast you guys are building was to reach out to us. That's pretty awesome.
Yep.
It means we're doing something right, hopefully.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, especially with this one, this tavern beer, dude. Like, I remember the first sip that I took, I think I was just like, dude, this is what beer's supposed to taste like.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when you sit there and you think about, like, when you're telling your kid or you're telling somebody, like, all right, I'm having a beer. All right, what does it taste like? It should taste like this. I don't even know how to explain it. I just said, like, this is what a beer should taste like.
I think that feeling means a lot to a lot of people, right? That the first sip that they felt like, oh, you know what, this is beer. Okay, this is beer. This is beer. Oh, that's beer.
Yep.
And that's a really fun feeling for some, a little scary for others, and it's at the end of the day, it's just beer. So it's a wonderful craft. It's something that means that it can be really kind of anything as far as the style and the profile of what somebody's looking for. But most people's first memory is that beer-flavored beer.
Yep.
And that's what tavern beer was supposed to be. I mean, we did this in collaboration with our friend, if anybody's on Twitter or X, sorry, at Chicago Bars. This guy, he is one of the biggest champions of what taverns are in the neighborhoods of Chicago and what that means to Chicago. And I think it really expands throughout the region. It's not just Chicago.
Yep.
I think everybody understands that one place that dad or grandpa went to, or even your uncle that was like on the way home from work, and that third place to just stop and be like, you know what, I've got work, I've got home, I love them both, but at some point I just kind of need that third space between, and to have that shot in the beer, whether you were really celebrating something, literally just taking your hat off for the day of work before you went home to those obligations and that treat, or really to commiserate, like maybe you had a bad day, something else. But whatever those meanings are, there's definitely that one establishment that you kind of remember in your neighborhood or so on. That's what this beer is. It's a classic Dortmunder style, so a cousin of the Pilsner, but a little more malt character to it, a little less hop character to it. Just an all-around fun beer, and pairs with your favorite shot, which I feel like we're going to get into a little bit later on.
Yes, we will. But like I said, dude, I loved it. And the other one that I really loved was the, Blood Orange Blonde Ale.
Yeah.
That's another one. I know you said that was a happy mistake.
It was.
I don't know how that could have been a mistake because...
No, mistake was the wrong word. Yeah. You're right.
How did that one... I know you said there's the guy behind the scenes who's the beer maker, but how did that one come about? And then just how was it a mistake to where?
So mistake again, as I said, was the wrong word. He had this idea for, hey, let's put forward a blonde ale. Well, an American blonde ale is something so approachable and delicate and fun on its own. But it also is very complimentary of a style to be with fruit. And it was getting to be about springtime, and I feel like he was going, all right, well, let's make this blonde ale and let's do something fun for the summertime. Started playing around with a number of different fruits, and blood orange was kind of the one that hit for us. And so while it's not even one of his favorite styles, like personally, that's why I consider it a kind of a funny one. Like he makes so many different styles well, him being Mark Poffenberger. He's our head brewer and the mastermind behind all of this, all the beer component of this. But it went on tap and it was draft only, and that thing kicked so quick.
Oh, yeah.
To the point where he's like, well, I feel like we should make it again. And another 30-barrel batch came and went, and then finally we got to a point where we're like, all right, well, maybe we try it in cans and see how far it goes. And now it's our number one seller.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that it's your best seller. And you said it was like a great mistake, and it just turns out to be something where, like I said, as soon as I cracked it open, I'm like, oh yeah, I could drink this all the time. Well, and it's one of those, like, I love it because I like citrus, but I don't like the hard, like, IPAs with citrus.
Okay.
And I'm like, but I still like that citrus kick that you can get in some beers.
Totally.
And that one fit, like, what I wanted and what I would always look for. It was like, all right, good. That is right there on, like, hot summer day or even like a cold winter day where I'm like, you know what? I don't want something heavy. I want something light, and I'll just drink that because I'm not a stout guy. He's a stout guy. I am not a stout guy at all.
So as we were getting to know one another before the taping of the show, Juan, you told us that you were a stout guy, and I'm really excited because we've got our winter seasonal called the Defender American Stout that I want you to have.
That's awesome.
But I'm glad that you say, too, that the Blood Orange Blonde is your favorite, and you want to drink it even in the wintertime because that screams summer, right? Even on the label, you can see there's a beach aspect to it. There's a ton of water. That's Lake Michigan right there. Yep. We're very proud of the region that we're brewing in. We're very fortunate to be here too because it's some of the best water you can be brewing with. But truth be told, you need your vitamin C during the winter.
There you go.
So be drinking the summer beers in the wintertime. Be drinking the stouts during the summertime. Because that part we'll get into as well. It's a fun one. Okay. And I feel like styles should not just be seasonal.
Oh yeah, I get you.
This day and age.
Well, I'm curious. Like, I know you were saying you weren't in the brewing side of it. Like, how did you come about into the business?
I have been working in and around craft beer for the last 20 years. Okay. I am originally from Northern California, Sacramento area. I moved out to Chicago 20 years ago because I came to college at Loyola University Chicago and loved it. But like most people going to college, you kind of need some beer money. So you do the normal thing and you go to the hospitality industry and start with the craft brewery downtown, right? Or at least that's my road. Yeah. So I started at 19 years old as a host at Rock Bottom Brewery at State and Grand downtown Chicago. Rest in peace, because it's
and that was like the only 24-hour one too.
Not quite 24 hours. City of Chicago didn't allow that, but it was late night, and it had an amazing rooftop bar. Yes. But beyond that too, it was really damn good beer. It was amazing people who championed what people think about good hospitality to be. I think some of my best friends still that I worked with there for 5 years, or I still talk to, and we talk about this a lot, where once you get that kind of culture in this industry, it's pretty special. Oh yeah, and it kind of carries on and helps a lot more around. The beer is the easy product, right? Like that. that was what people came for, but they stayed for how we interacted and why we enjoyed it. And we love sharing that. So that's kind of the reason why I stayed into it. But the rest of the story kind of goes from rock bottom, where Pete Crowley, who was one of the co-founders here at Haymarket, he was the brewmaster at the time when I was there at rock bottom, and he left to open up this place with John Neurouter, who you guys met before this, and they wanted to start their own story within this industry of craft beer, a wonderful place for people to come and relax after work with affordable, delicious quality product, and just kind of that environment where you felt welcome, and that third space everybody kind of harkens back to, which is, again, kind of why I think that tavern beer is that perfect nostalgia. Not just the flag imagery on it, but
I do love the can, by the way, too.
Yeah.
I love all your cans.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
And I love this making great beer for great beer drinkers. Like, that's another good one where I'm like, that's an awesome sign. Like, that should be a flag somewhere, just like right
We got
there.
him coming. We got him coming. We're going to make some flags, so I'm so glad you said that. At the end of the day, you know, there, like I said, there's about 10,000 breweries in this country. It's such a great time to be a beer drinker. I think you guys appreciate this too, right? Where there's a lot of good out there. And a lot of people are making that. Well, what separates you, what makes it memorable, and not necessarily separation, because this industry isn't really about that. You talk to anybody in this industry, and I think one of the things that keeps them there, one of the things that they love about it the most, is the community and the camaraderie and the collaboration around this product. And while we've grown to be this big, which is a testament to that culture, I think there's still a lot of work to be done where we feel beer is, yes, that product that we put out, but the experience that we give is the more meaningful thing. Right? You put a proper beer in front of somebody, then you start having better conversations.
Exactly. So, and I think we were doing that even before we started taping, just kind of going through and talking about, you know, why we came to this point, why we're doing what we're doing. And I feel like that kind of flows into, you know, why you guys do this and put out this product. Is, you know, you're doing something that you enjoy and that you love. Yes, we are.
What's your name?
Kristen.
Kristen?
How you doing?
Kristen, say hello.
You can say hello. How you doing?
Hi, I'm Kristen.
Kristen, what is your favorite? What
are you drinking?
What is your beverage in your hand?
I'm drinking the seltzer that they have here. They didn't have High Noons.
No. But you're having the strawberry basil seltzer. How do you like it?
It's all right.
It's just okay?
You should be drinking a beer.
Out of 5 stars, what would you give it?
2 out of 5.
2 out of 5.
Oh,
ouch!
You know what? All right. You know what you need to. All right. You know what you should try? The blood orange blonde ale.
Do you enjoy beer?
Yeah, I like blonde beer.
Well, there you go.
Have you had the blood orange blonde ale? It's his favorite beer.
It's my favorite beer. So the blood orange blonde ale. You should go try it. Yes, you should.
Is that what you guys are talking about?
We're talking about all the beers.
Yeah.
Can we get the blood orange?
There you go.
Grab it and then come back. We want to talk to you with the blood orange blonde.
Yes. Well, sorry about that review on the seltzer.
Hey, you know what? Again, we're a brewery. That the seltzer category is very much not going away.
Well, here I have a question for you.
Yeah.
As far as with the seltzers and the beer, like, what is the biggest difference as far as like the process of it? As far as like, is how
less
big,
ingredients for the seltzer.
Okay. And how does like, I don't know if I'm getting too far into the science of it, because I'm just curious of, like, you have your seltzer, it's like, well, it's just missing the barley and the hops and everything to be a beer, right?
Yeah, there's a bit of that.
And how many are you guys experimenting with different flavors, or are you kind of just like, we'll just do 1 or 2 here and there? and focus.
So our seltzers are actually only available at our tap room and our brew pub.
Okay.
So it is very much a category we recognize that people are enjoying, and for good reason. I'm sorry that she only gave it 2 stars. I think it's pretty damn good. Yeah, honestly.
I do like the variety, to be able to change it up.
Yeah.
Because every once in a while, I'm like, all right, I've had a lot of beer, but sometimes it's nice to have more bubbles. Once in a while, that's just me.
So we talked about kind of earlier too. Beer is delicious. It is one of my favorites beverages. Right? But let's be serious. I like a lot more alcoholic beverages, cocktails, wine. I like wine quite a bit. Seltzers, I don't dislike. I actually like a seltzer every once in a while. But we here at the Brew Pub, the nice part about this license that we have held for 14 years is we have spirits, we have wine, we have more than just the beer that we make, and that allows for people to feel welcome and comfortable with what they are truly enjoying. And beer is for everybody. It truly is. But if it's not your thing, we got you. Yeah. That's kind of what it breaks down to.
And I think that's a good thing, too, of being able, I've been to some breweries where it is just the beer.
Yeah.
And actually, there was one that I went to with my family, and my mom is sitting there, and she's just like, I'm not a beer drinker. She's like, I drink wine.
So what'd she end up getting?
A Coke.
A Coke.
And it was funny because she's like, I'll just have a Coke. They had to go to the store and buy a 6-pack of Coke and bring it back and then open it for her.
But they did that.
Yeah, but they did that for her.
That's amazing.
But it was just one of those things where she's just like, she's like, I'm just not a beer drinker. And she's just like, I wanted something else. But the fact that they went and did that was a cool thing. And I was like, all right, at least they went and did that.
That's the difference.
So, but it was just funny to think about how you guys offer other things too, which is a testament to you guys to be like, look, all right, if you don't want beer, we have all these other things.
Right. We're proud of our craft, don't get us wrong, because Mark is so talented, and his passion for this process and understanding the different styles that he respects so much for people going centuries back of this craft before even knowing what yeast really was, right? He's a great steward of his craft. But in this day and age, too, we recognize that, it doesn't have to be just beer for everybody that we want to come around, because we're in the business of people. Yep. We're here to serve our community, and we're here to provide that opportunity to let go of the rest of the outside world, right? We're that third space to come in and celebrate, commiserate, just be. That's what it's about. So whatever your thing is, we got a little bit of that for you here.
Yep, I see that. And I saw your food menu too, and that looked awesome too.
What caught your eye?
Everything. The fact that I loved how it went from Chicago tavern style pizza to Detroit pizza. Yeah. Which Detroit pizza is good. It's not as good as tavern to me.
Hey,
I'm a tavern style guy till the day I die. So,
as am I. That's always my preference.
And I went to New York, and New York pizza was terrible. I don't care what anybody says. New York pizza is terrible, and so is New Jersey pizza. I've had New Jersey pizza too. That was terrible. I came home.
What's the difference?
They're both greasy, but one will say that they're better than the other, but they're both terrible.
Clearly territorial, but
yes. It's the same exact thing.
Same vehicle.
But it just says, oh, this is Jersey.
Same cut, just different address.
Yep. Okay. So, but tavern style here is the way to go. And I hated it when I was in New York. Everybody's like, oh, you like that deep dish Chicago style? I'm like, that ain't Chicago style. I'm like, that's just a name that they put on it. I'm like, you want our real pizza? I'm like, you go to a bar, you do this, and then you have this pizza. Yeah. This is our pizza. And I love it. Like, it's in squares. But you eat a lot more, because then you think you're eating more, but you're really not.
Well, that was the whole purpose of tavern-style pizzas, right? Cut it into squares so that you had a little snack before you went home after work.
Yep.
So that you could soak up a little bit of that beer that you were drinking, that tavern beer that you were drinking. It's so funny to me. It's like everybody has different preferences, and that's good. That's okay. it's actually preferable, right? Like you want variety. You want to be able to say, you know what, there's a time and a place for everything. So today, I'm going to have that tavern beer with some tavern pizza.
Yep.
Tomorrow, I'm going to have that blood orange blonde with some deep dish. Just that once. Just the one quota slice for the year, right? Like, you just still got to try it.
Yeah.
If you were to be forced to have deep dish pizza, where would you get it from?
Well, there's only one.
There's only one.
There's only one. And it's not really deep dish. It's kind of like a hybrid. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's oh God, you just threw me for a loop because I can't remember the name now. No, Pequod's. Audi Pequod's.
I like that answer.
I love Pequod's.
Same.
Pequod's is one of the best that
I agree.
I have, and the best part about it is I love the space. I love how it's not this big glamorous spot. It's this like little hole in the wall, and you go in there and you're like, all right, you're going to be sitting next to somebody, and you're sitting here like this, and then this huge pan comes in and takes up most of your table.
Yeah.
And you're just like, all right, I got to try to eat this. But yeah, Pequod's. I would take Pequod's over any other Chicago style.
I like that answer.
Pizza.
I like that answer a lot. They're definitely in my top 3.
Okay. What other ones do you like?
Yeah. Juan over there said, don't say Lou Malnati's.
Okay.
But that butter crust is damn good.
Oh, yeah. You know what I like from Lou Malnati's is the sausage crust.
Yeah, that one's pretty good.
I'll eat that one.
Okay, so you even want to admit it.
Yeah.
All right. So Lou Malnati's, you're not totally out of the scene, but I like that.
Because I remember, like, just for a quick story as far as New York style pizza, we went to New York for a wedding, me and my wife.
Okay.
Ate the pizza, and everybody's like, oh, this is the best pizza on the planet. I'm like, this is garbage. I'm like, all right, I ate it, came back home. The Pizza Hut Brooklyn style pizza was 10 times better than whatever was in New York. That's all I'm going to say.
Wow.
Yes.
Pizza Hut,
New York, Brooklyn style pizza.
Brooklyn style pizza.
Yep.
Okay.
So if you ever want to, $7.99.
I got a similar story about Detroit style pizza. Okay. You guys are familiar with Jets?
Yes.
Because Jets.
Yep.
Right? I'll be completely honest. My favorite Detroit style pie, the OG, I feel like Buddy's, you can do no better. Buddy's pizza is awesome.
Okay.
As you had pointed out, we've done our research. We do some Detroit squares too.
Yes.
And I think we do a pretty good job, but obviously we're the Chicago entity, right? Like it's we're trying to pay as much homage as we can to the top of the top. But Jets. I went to a concert out in Pontiac, Michigan.
Okay.
It was right after COVID, so it was like the pod shows. You guys go to concerts during the aftermath of the shutdown, right?
Yep.
Where it was social distancing, and you had the little square where
that's where you can hang out.
Yeah. That was your pod. That was it. Don't look at anybody else. Don't go anywhere else. Like that. Head straight down. If you got to go to the porta potties, go get your beer or whatever else. But after that show, which was a blast, we got Jets delivered to the hotel room afterwards, and that was hands down the best Detroit-style pizza I have ever had in my entire life. I can't tell you if that was also the culmination of a lot of the beer that I had and the euphoria from the show, but hands down the best Detroit pie.
Yeah.
Jets.
Well, it's just the one thing. Pizza.
It's not a pizza.
The White Castle pizza.
Do you guys like White Castle?
Sometimes. Depends on how drunk I am. I do. But pizza's
Never
one of
been
those.
my thing.
Like for me,
but I'm a West Coast guy too, so it's like I didn't grow up with it.
Yeah, but pizza's like beer. It's just like one of those things that I feel like everybody loves pizza. Yeah. Mostly everybody, and mostly everybody loves beer, and I feel like they go hand in hand. To where like there's just
no better combo.
Exactly. Except like tacos and tequila. those two go hand in hand, and pizza and beer go hand.
I will happily have those case studies and the test.
Oh yeah, I would be a test.
Maybe that's our next
too.
episode.
There you go.
We just line up all the tacos and tequila, and we line up all the beers and the pizzas. All right,
Yes,
I like that.
That's awesome. So talk about this space, because dude, this is one of the, honestly, for like city, downtown areas, neighborhoods, this is a big spot. And I just kind of want to know, like,
do you think most of the people who are listening right now know where we're at as far as location downtown?
I feel like a few people, but I feel like it's like if I said Randolph, like that kind of narrows it in a little bit.
Yep.
But I just feel like just for real estate in Chicago itself is pretty insane as far as prices and locations.
We were very fortunate.
And you have a corner lot.
We do.
And this is, I mean, just from the front side is pretty big. But then to have this back here too, I mean, this is insane. Like, how did you guys come about finding this spot?
So the full origin story back in 2009, 2010. We were, again, John Newretter, Pete Crowley, looking to open up a brew pub that was really based around making great quality craft beer, passion for making homemade sausages from John. Back when I was at Rock Bottom, when they met and kind of got together with this concept, they started what we now have as our annual festival here at the Brew Pub called Sausage Fest. Because who doesn't love encased meats? And
is that jalapeno cheddar wurst on there?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
So yes, I did do my research on the menu, just so you know.
Again, handcrafted everything is kind of the way to go, right? The labor of love for all of it and the experience that brings. But Pete and John brought this together, and we were very fortunate at the time, because remember that this 2010, right after 2008 debacle, not a lot of banks were giving out loans and figuring out how to help out, but we saw this place, and it was the largest, biggest space to put a brewery in the city at that point in time, and we didn't know what was going to be going on with the rest of the neighborhood necessarily, but in the years that ensued afterwards, we were doing the build out here, and a couple of the other restaurants down the road were starting to close shop, and they had been around for several years already, so we were kind of getting nervous. But then, 6 months before we opened our doors, Stephanie Eisert and Girl on the Goat opened. Publican had already been open a couple blocks away for several years. Effect down the road to the east of us, there were still staples that people were drawn to for this food component that Chicago does so well. And we saw this opportunity. It was the anchor corner spot, and possibly go wrong.
Yeah.
Right? And we're so fortunate for the way that the neighborhood around us kind of burgeoned and blew up the way that it has. So we're mostly lucky, but I also like to think that because of the people we've had along the way these last 14 years, we've had that staying power, because most of the changes that have gone on around this neighborhood, we've been that constant and the thing that people kind of gravitate towards of, this feels like a place I want to hang my hat at the end of the day and just have a good time and kick back with a beer.
Well, I can tell you, as soon as I walked in, I had that vibe right away. Like, I loved walking in and just seeing I want to say, like, old school bar. You walk in, I'm like, all right, that's a bar.
You know those lights anywhere, right, in Chicago. Like, everybody understands that back bar, right?
Yep.
The pole lights and so on.
I wanted to look up at like the tiles too, see if they had those old like gold ones from like Flatiron and all those. I'm like, this is the place that you'd go to. Like, I remember going so we grew up like right by Midway Airport.
Yep.
So we lived there for years, and all the local taverns and all the local dives all had that same feel, and it was always those crusty old guys who got off of work were like, ugh. And then there was the younger crowd that would come in. So it was just like, as soon as I walked in, I'm like, all right, this is exactly what it feels like. Like, where's the old guy complaining about something? Because that's what I want to see. And then coming back
That
here.
was probably me before you guys actually came over and talked.
Well, unfortunately, Chicago traffic is a conversation for another day.
Yeah, well, it sucks. Everybody knows it. That's it. That's
Well,
the story.
1994 has been on construction since I've been born. And that was back in 84. So,
Yeah. What's that saying of just, never stop working on yourself, just like 1994?
So I am curious.
Yeah.
What's the plan for the future? Like, do you guys want to keep it simple and keep it to where we're here, or do you guys want to expand more? Like, I don't want to get too far into like business plans or anything, but like,
No,
what
that's
is,
a
like,
fair question.
as far as like end game, or not end game, but more of like the vision that all you guys see as partners. What is the vision that you guys see? Because I mean, everything that we've had, I've loved, and that's one of the, and it's a weird. I'll even try the stout, but like, there's always those. Like, there's those breweries where, like, you like one or two things.
Sure.
And then you have those other ones that are just like, why did you even do that? But you guys are consistent with what you make. Like, I'm kind of curious, what is your vision for Haymarket? What is your vision for it? And what are your intentions on, like, in the future?
I think Chris and John and I have a very similar mission of making this a sustainable business model that can kind of withstand the test of time for those to continually come in, enjoy themselves with the product that we're making. And, it really is kind of about that, not the evolution of it. There was once upon a time we thought we were going to be that regional brewery that was distributing beer in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Iowa, maybe beyond, Missouri, so on and so forth. But, it's kind of funny how life throws things at you, like COVID and, all the other headwinds you never see coming. That at the end of the day, when push comes to shove, it's about the people that you serve and the people that help you make the dream come true, and that whatever that dream is, whatever iteration it is, the people that are with you along the way are your true priority.
Okay.
So our goal, I would say, to answer your question, sorry for the roundabout way, make sure that the place that we've got here at Randolph and Halstead, plus our Bridgman, Michigan location.
I was going to bring that up. Yes, I was going to bring that up. So,
and maybe a good transition point, but
yes.
That expansion over there too. The community is equally as important to us over there than it is here in Chicago.
I feel like Michigan has somewhat, I wouldn't say like a revolution, but almost like a renaissance with craft beers as well. So I feel like there's a lot of them that have come up that have just kind of like, there's in these small towns like, not New, I wanted to say New Amsterdam, but it's not New Amsterdam. It's like north of New Holland.
Yeah.
Like New Holland, like I was there for a trip, and there's all these little, I would say, micro brews down there in their little downtown.
New Holland Brewing Company is one of the OGs that has helped our industry get to where it is. Michigan is a stalwart. I mean, there's Bell's, Atwater, there's Founders, there's Saugatuck, there's...
I like Saugatuck. Saugatuck's a good one, too.
There's so many great breweries in Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
And the beauty of this industry is that you're not reinventing the wheel. What you're doing is you're paying homage to this craft that has existed for centuries. And, it is very much a cultural thing. It's very much a geographic, your community in what you make of it, but it is a rallying call. Like many friends of ours, we always kind of say that once you put a proper beverage in front of somebody, you can start having that conversation that you need to have, right? That the proper beverage is kind of the goal, to be the catalyst for good community and making sure everyone's taken care of.
Okay. So tell me more about Michigan. I am curious
Michigan's
about that.
fun. Michigan's fun. If you don't get over there, we're in Bridgman, Michigan. It's only 90 minutes from door to door here in Chicago. And it's gorgeous. It's kind of the beautiful yin and yang of bustling city brew pub that we have here in Chicago versus the retreat in Lake Country over there where it's sprawling. We took over the old state police post.
Oh, nice.
It's this beautiful, gorgeous brick with copper roof, 10,000 square foot building sitting on about 17-ish acres.
Oh, wow.
And we added on a whole back warehouse for packaging and cold storage and future fermentation. So that's our production facility, and we're super proud to bring that over there and really immerse ourselves over there because it's gorgeous.
Yeah. So now I'm like, all right, sounds like we have a road trip going on.
Yes, that's the next one.
Besides the romance that's going off here to the side.
Wasn't she supposed to get the seltzer?
Seltzer, no. She's not tasting seltzer right now. She's probably tasting a beer. But anyway, so was that the
Interesting.
was that the objective for that spot when you guys saw like
Was
to
production?
make it production?
Yeah. So
Okay.
for the
You just
first. In 2017. That's when we opened our doors. But truthfully, we got the property in about 2015.
Okay.
It took us a lot longer to build that out. And again, just gorgeous property. You guys will understand when you come over and visit. But Michigan allowed us to bring our product to people when they wouldn't otherwise be able to come downtown to Chicago and visit us here as a brew pub, because prior to Michigan, we only served our product here on site.
Okay.
So this allowed us to get into distribution, go into this volume game that I will tell you is hard for everybody, big or small. And truth be told, is one of those things where like, yeah, this is going to be easy.
Oh, there's our seltzer girl right there.
She does not have a blood orange blonde.
No, she does not.
All right, well, hopefully she gets that and we'll get to talk to her again. But this distribution challenge that we saw in front of us that we thought was where we saw everybody kind of heading towards that way, and we pursued it as well, and it has humbled us to no end as far as learning out what we didn't know.
Yeah.
Right? We know what we know. We don't know what we don't know. And it's funny how that progression has gone now, going 7 years plus into distribution. We're grateful. These are wonderful banners, and I truly am proud of what that represents, because it kind of comes back to the passion and the whole purpose of community that we started out doing.
Yep. You know what? I like it how you talked about production and distribution, which was some of the questions that were just given to me.
At you?
But I was thinking about it. I'm like,
you got a good arm.
Yep. But I was thinking about, like, there's sometimes I feel like looking at certain things, like the further out you go, it gets diluted, and it doesn't feel the same as if it's remember what you had back home. You know, like, and I'll just put this one out there just because we're from Chicago. When Portillo's was bought out by that other company, it went to garbage. It just didn't taste the same.
I'm not going to argue with you on that, because I feel the same on the quality front.
But I feel like with certain things, it's like you have a good thing and just blow it up where you're at and just own it and kill it. I mean, and I feel like you guys are doing it because, like I said, everything that we had, I've enjoyed. And I feel like I would rather it be like it's our little secret. Like, well, we don't want to share it with the world.
Well,
you guys do. But I'm talking about like as far as it, it's one
economies of scale here. Like, we're in the market, but also, I hear what you're saying. Like that, it is. It absolutely is.
Because I feel like you guys are here. You guys, like you want the city to love you and the city to enjoy it. And it's like, no, we want that for us. Like, but I don't understand from your perspective. It's like, no, we need to reach as many people as we can.
But that's, the one thing that I love about this industry is the fact that there's no one right answer. Mm-hmm. And if you talk to everybody that got into this industry, they all have a different origin story and how they got enamored with it and thought that this was the right thing to do for them. And none of it's wrong. And it's such a beautiful thing when people get to share their stories because, again, kind of put the proper beverage in front of somebody and start hearing it. I think you find a lot of commonality and a lot of common ground because everybody has that spark in them of what matters.
Yep.
And beer is just fun. It really is.
I'm curious, which one is your favorite?
I will be honest with you that the Chicago Tavern beer is one I probably drink the most of.
Okay.
But have you ever heard the term ambiguous?
No.
It's one of my favorite words. It is a lover of all things alcoholic.
Okay.
And that's not to say that I don't practice moderation, because I do. But an appreciation for a beverage that has been crafted to a certain style and to explore different ranges of palate is really fun. And to do so with a product that has 4 basic ingredients and to see the different variety that can come of that process is such a fun experiment. And I'll be the first one to admit that when I got into this industry, I was not a science geek, and not to say that I am now, but there's so much science behind it that you can't help but get entangled and enamored and admire those that are so good at this craft to be able to say, yeah, with these I can make you this. Like my wife is a chef, and I think everybody who enjoys working in the kitchen can feel the same way, right? I am honored and so happy to try somebody's product like that when they're so good at the process. It's just fun.
That's awesome.
And it's fun to share.
Oh, yeah. And that's what, I feel like the basis of what we're trying to do now is to highlight that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that side of it doesn't get explained enough. Of you guys and the back end of it and the people who are like, look, this is what we do because we love it and we enjoy it, and you can create these different ones from the 4 basic ingredients, give or take, adding a blood orange or adding something else to it, make it something else,
and the tweaks to classic styles, right?
Yes.
We've talked about how this industry and beer has existed for thousands of years. But what we know it today to be is so bonkers, and it's accelerated just like technology, where this boom and this rise of people getting into it, and what those styles and the boundary pushing styles that are out there now, like milkshake IPAs and the first person who thought, yeah, let's throw a chocolate cake into the mash tun and see what comes out. Kudos. That's fucking hilarious, but at the same time, sorry to cuss, but it's hilarious that was a part of the creative process. And while that might not be for everybody, that's part of the craft.
Yeah. So with going now with the creative process, when you guys are coming up with, say, new beers or whatever, is it a collaborative thing, or is it just Mark? Or do you guys sit down and be like, we want to create something different, or what's the process on that? Without giving away too much. I'm just curious about you guys sit down one day and he's like, all right, I want to make a cherry cobbler.
I can 100% guarantee you that Mark will never say, I want to make a cherry pie or whatever. But what I will say is that we will always defer to the experts, and Mark is truly the expert when it comes to this craft. So while we have our favorite styles, like one of my absolute favorite styles is a Belgian style double ale, right? And we've made one here over the years called Mother Jones, and it's fantastic. I would not be the one to be like, hey, Mark, get out of the way, let me come and make this.
Yeah.
I'm going to defer to his expertise on how best to execute that, because I know the end product is going to be delicious. But that creative process that you're asking is a combination of what do we think that people are looking for, because it's not just about what we want to drink or what we want to make. While that is definitely representative of what we like to champion, it's a collaborative process with also our end consumer, because if people don't come back and buy that beer, then we're stuck with a lot of beer that we got to drink, and we probably, aren't going to make a ton of money on it.
Yeah.
It's the ebbs and flows, right? It's the creative process of this worked, this didn't. Let's get back to the drawing board. The hazy is lazy hazy that you see here is actually that evolution.
Okay.
So hazy is lazy, which I just slipped up and said, is an IPA that is not actually hazy at all, and it was the predecessor to this guy.
Okay.
The hazy is lazy is an American IPA that is very clear, and it was a commentary because we refused to make a hazy IPA when that style came to be.
Okay.
And we thought we were hilarious in the naming of that. Well, once you put that on a can and you set it on a shelf and you expect people to understand that you're hilarious, they see hazy in the name, they go, oh great, this is exactly what I'm looking for. They crack it open and it looks like this, and they're like,
This is not what I want.
That's not that. So it almost hurts you in a certain way when you try to be too funny, when you try to be too cheeky and go above and beyond. You got to remember that at the end of the day, people are wanting what they want.
Oh, yeah.
But that's why the closer you get to the source, you're going to get the story, you're going to get that joke, you're going to get that experience that goes beyond just a label.
Yeah.
It's nice to be able to have a beer that pays homage to the city of Chicago with the flag imagery, and that can be taken for what everybody's experience is, wherever they're going to take it, because their relationship with the city and that flag is unique to them. When I say, or when Mark says, this blood orange blonde, this hazy is lazy, this Doppelbock, this particular style is unique to me, you almost have to work a little bit harder or get that time together to be able to tell that story for people to understand it.
Okay. So which one would be your story?
Me?
Yes.
Oh, personally, damn, that's a hard one.
Well, you were saying, you were talking about the flag, the blonde. You were talking about the Belgian one that was good for you, like that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, which one would be your story?
That was a really fun one. So Oscar's part in the Belgian Pale Ale that you brought up, that Juan loved as well.
Good job, Juan. That's why he's. Yeah, he's just over there.
That Oscar's pardon, by the way, is only 4.5%.
Okay.
It's
sorry that happened.
We were so passionate about this style, and it is definitely a style that is not lost on beer aficionados. In Belgium, that Durant Double X Bitter, the Broekzat, the classic beer styles that America really kind of wasn't ready for or understood. In the rise of craft beer here in America, where brewers started to say, let's mess around with this style. I like the complexity to this, even though there's very delicate body to that beer to a degree. You start using local ingredients and saying how that impacts the style, and it becomes interesting. But on the marketing front, on the other side of the business, where you enter the market as one of your first beers as a dry hop Belgian pale ale, Belgian yeast, American hops, all Pilsner malt, low ABV, but you put that Belgian label on there, the average consumer at the time just wasn't ready for it, and they didn't understand it, so they weren't going to pull it off the shelf unless somebody was there to hand sell it.
Yep.
And to explain that beer was exactly what they were looking for if you find that right person. But like I said, it's you learn what you don't know, and you pivot and you grow and you figure it out.
And I think that's the good thing about having this spot here, is that you get to learn about what you like and what's out there, and then you can be like, oh, you know what, I really like the hazy's lazy, and like, all right, it's not hazy, but it kind of fits the homage of what we're talking about,
right?
And then you can go and get it, or you get it here. So I kind of feel like this spot is good to kind of get people to what they like.
As with the rise of craft breweries, I think people were ready for options,
yes,
and variety, and figuring out what was for them.
Yeah.
And craft beer is for everybody. There's a little bit of something for everybody. The education is still one of the biggest factors to this industry. The rise of, when we opened up our doors here in 2010, there were about 3,000 breweries in the country. So you're talking about a 7,000 brewery increase. And that's a lot, and that's a ton of options in front of people. But just because there was a segment of the population that decided, yes, I understand this, and we're going to bring this to the people, and this is what they want, there was still a level of education of, hey, this is what this is. This isn't necessarily the banquet beer or the Miller Lite or the Dab or the, insert grandpa's beer now, right? I'm excited that the tavern beer is going to be our homage and my generation's dad beer, or at least I hope. But it can also be the blood orange blonde that, down the road, your kids are like, oh, that was my dad's beer. It was this craft brewery's take on a fruited blonde ale.
Yeah.
And more people down the road will know what that means. And it's just a fun experiment, right? It's no different from the culinary boom and everything else, where people just like exploring.
Oh, yeah. And that's awesome. And I love how, like, especially you bringing up, like, this is your homage to that beer of the, your granddad, everybody else. It's like, I love when, I guess, maybe about 2005, 2006, when the craft beers really started making their way out. So we're like, oh, there's all these other things, because I would always see my dad drink one thing, but I always see somebody else drink another. And then you see all these other flavors and other options come across, but it's like, oh, there's more out there than just this. And then I remember I went to this one bar, Beer Market.
Oh, I love Beer Market.
I went to Beer Market.
Yeah, Beer Market, they do such a great job.
I was like 22 or 23, and I walked into this. I was like a kid in a candy store when I saw the menu of like 15 pages. Yeah. And I'm like, wait a minute, there's all this kind of beer that exists? And they're like, yeah, whatever you want, you can have. And I'm just like, oh my God. And I remember the one time in particular, they brought a unpasteurized barrel of Stiegel over, and it was like $15 for a pint of it. And I'm like, wait, it's imported? They're like, yeah, we paid the import tax, everything. This is the way it should be. I'm like, let's go. And I'm just like, this is so awesome.
Did it blow your mind?
Oh, yeah. It was completely different than regular. Like, the regular one was way different than the unpasteurized, the way that they serve it out there. I'm like, this is awesome. And the fact that they served every beer in a different glass, too, that was another thing.
Yeah.
Not to say that I didn't steal a few of those glasses in my youth.
We won't talk about that.
But that's when you have the windows open and you have that girl who has a purse.
We won't talk about that.
But I feel like that was a cool place to open up my mind to what's available.
Yeah. Those are the places, right? Like we as manufacturers of craft beer have that luxury of being able to showcase it right here, and it is wonderful to be able to create that experience and curate a menu that we believe people are excited for. Some of our best friends and partners are those beer bars that dedicate their business model towards our craft. And they're the best ones to do it because of their appreciation for it and their understanding of it. Because they're the ones that are actually educating, right?
Yep.
Like we try to do our best too, but we're only one location. Part of that beauty of distribution is getting it out there so that you can explore and see what else is out there. And it's not just the few brands here that you have to be stuck with. Like I can't imagine that it was bad to be living in the time of the heyday for Tide houses here in Chicago, where while none of the beer was really made here, it was made in Milwaukee, but the local corner spot was a Schlitz Tide house, and you had that Schlitz, or over here with PBR, and you had that PBR. That was probably great, but you were stuck between two industrial lagers at the point in time. How it's changed, whatever else. Like it's a fun time to be in.
Oh yeah, I love it. Like I said, and I love your stuff. That's the one thing about it. And that's why I wanted to reach out to you guys first to make sure that we could do this or even have a chance to do it. So I want to give you just, I don't know, a couple minutes for you just to...
I feel like I've taken up all your minutes.
I love it. So, I mean, but for you to just do a shout out for yourself in your place and just, I mean, this is for you guys. Like, for us right now, doing this mini series is to go to the places that we enjoy and the beers that we like to drink, and just give you guys opportunity to just be like, hey, this is who we are, this is what we do, and come enjoy our food, come enjoy our beer, and have a great time.
Well, I very much appreciate you guys. Again, big honor to be the first ones that you guys come out and do a live show here at our brewery. But well, genuine invitation. Please come and see us here at 737 West Randolph. Haymarket Brewing, we would love to see you guys. We've got a wonderful event that I would love to bring you guys to in March. It's our Sausage Fest.
Oh, I would
Don't
love
be scared.
it. No.
We make our own sausage. We have a lot of our friends who make their own sausage. We showcase a lot of our friends here in the industry with different beers available that pair for this beer and food competition.
That's awesome.
Come have some fun. At the end of the day, it's just beer. We're here to make sure that you guys have an enjoyable time when you choose to come out and find that little third space between work and home.
Yep.
Right?
Juan, do you want to come in and say anything, or
Don't we have to have a shot? I don't understand what the rules are here.
So yeah, we usually do end the episode with a shot. So it's entirely up to you what you want to do.
No, you guys have been so gracious.
You guys were the gracious ones. You guys let us come here. This is entirely us just paying homage to you guys.
So tequila?
Sure. All right.
Cool.
So, like we do end every episode, we do a shot at the end. And you being the host, you chose tequila, which is fine with me. I thought for sure being in Chicago, you would have brought out a Malort.
I won't lie, I almost did.
You should have. It's all right. I lost a food challenge that we did, and the punishment was a shot of Malort. So
I like Malort.
Oh, I don't mind it, but it was just like I'm more of a tequila guy.
Okay.
So, and I could drink like
I said, guys,
a bottle of tequila and be fine. So.
I'm ambiguous. I like all things alcoholic, obviously within moderation, always with moderation.
Yes.
Drink responsibly.
And if you don't drink too responsibly, that's what Uber's for. And
Exactly.
all those other things.
Get home safe always. That's
And I get to have
rule
my
number one.
favorite.
Blood Orange Blonde?
Blood Orange Blonde Ale. I will say that this is my favorite. So, thank you very much.
Hey, thank you. And Juan, thank you.
Juan, come over here. Oh, dude.
Thank you, Mike, for being so gracious.
Yes.
Appreciate you guys coming out.
And, well, for our first episode of these mini-series, I'm so thankful that Haymarket was able to do this for us. And, dude, you've been a gracious host, and
You're
we
welcome back anytime.
truly appreciate everything that you did for us
We'll
today, dude.
definitely do a follow-up.
Yes, and we will be at Sausage Fest. So,
Yes, Sausage Fest. It's going to be fun.
good night, everybody.
March.
So good.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, man.